Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This presentation is about my experience as an English teacher supporting a student with a visual impairment. This presentation aims to provide listeners with tested best practices for accommodating these students, especially in a foreign language writing course. My name is Andrew Nelson. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. I received an email before the semester began. It informed me that a student with a visual impairment, total blindness, would be in my English class, and I needed to make the necessary preparations to support the student. Our program has 6 levels. I'm the level 6 teacher. I knew that this student had passed level 4 and level 5 and would be in my level 6 course. Visual impairment ranges from partial sight to total blindness. In this case, my student could not see anything. Accommodations were needed. I spoke to the level 4 and level 5 teachers. They gave me some advice about what they had done in their classes and some tips to help me avoid some of the pitfalls that they experienced. My class focused heavily on writing. It's an intensive writing course, and academic writing depends on reading, feedback, and direct instruction. It is hard to imagine how to learn how to write without sight, but it is possible. As you can see by this picture, this is what might happen to someone with partial sight. So, my student, let's call her Megan. Megan is not her real name, but Megan came to my class. She was highly motivated and fluent in English. She used a Braille typewriter and a screen reader on her phone. In the first maybe 3 or 4 weeks, it was quite a challenge because I had to change how I taught. It is important to rethink materials, including the introduction of Braille materials, how you communicate, and other accommodations that enhance the student's academic experience and foster a more inclusive classroom. So, for example, she sat close to the door of the classroom so she could enter without tripping over desks, and she could leave. So, for example, projecting PDFs on the board is useless. Sending Google Docs or sending emails is not a solution either. Many teachers use written examples and project them on the board. This is not beneficial for students with a visual impairment. So I had to change how I presented materials as well as the language I used to give instructions. My student had a Braille typewriter. We worked with an organization that provided materials in Braille. I had to create plain text versions of my materials for them to be converted into Braille. That is not easy. It takes a long time to edit your materials, and it takes even longer for those materials to be transformed into Braille. You need more time than you think you do. We also have to rethink how we teach and present materials. You can't say, read the 3rd paragraph, or read the instructions quietly, or let's look at the red text. That's not appropriate. So this picture of the Lego man is very useful, but if your student can't see the picture, you need different ways to describe what to do and very clear, short instructions. I sent many short messages on WhatsApp to my student, Megan. Emails are not useful. Your student is not going to find an email. What they are going to find is audio recordings sent over WhatsApp or whatever app you prefer, but send audio recordings instead of documents or emails, please. I reminded Megan many, many times when assignments were due and what I expected. So if there was an essay, I would send many messages about how many words she needed and the organization of the paper, and I was just always reminding her, hey, you need 2 paragraphs done by tomorrow. So my advice to you is keep your rubrics the same. You need to explain to the student very clear expectations. All the students should be evaluated the same way. So everybody should write the same persuasive essay, right? Every student should be evaluated the same in your writing class. However, it's okay to have one-on-one meetings with your student with a visual impairment. I had lots of one-on-one meetings. I was able to ask questions. I was able to help with the references section. I was able to discuss the topics and help Megan because she needed more help, especially finding articles. A support network is needed. There needs to be collaboration between the instructor and the student, the parents, the counselors, the library. There needs to be a network between all these people. I spoke to Megan's mother quite a lot, and Megan's mother helped me find an organization to print my materials in Braille. You are not alone. As I said before, the rubrics need to stay the same, but you can be flexible. So standards should stay the same, but your student maybe can have a week or 2 weeks to write the paper because they're going to need more time because they can't just look at a rough draft and compare. It is a challenge. I had never taught a student with a visual impairment before. It really made me think about the language I use in class, like, okay, class, as we can see, oh, wait a minute. And it takes time and patience. You have to be very patient with the student because they have to remember what you're saying in another language. So there needs to be clearer instructions, accessible documents, lots of patience and empathy. For example, I can't read Braille. I had to talk to my student and say, okay, what page are you on? How does that page relate to the page that I can see? And for that reason, you might experience some challenges in the classroom, especially with group work or partner work. I gave Megan a partner, but that student didn't show up every single day to class, so sometimes Megan didn't have a partner and I had to work with her. Also, it takes a long time to have documents printed in Braille, and Braille paper is expensive. I think this experience made me a better teacher because I had to reevaluate how I share materials and how I gave instructions to Megan. I had to plan more. I had to figure out ways to adjust assignments, especially if she had to give a presentation about a graph or a pie chart. How were we going to do that? We need to do what we can to give the student the education they deserve. We need to do better for all learners. And I would like to thank you for coming to this presentation. Please consider how you assess the student, how you communicate with the student, and how you can make learning happen, especially academic writing, because writing is difficult even in someone's first language. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Take care. Goodbye.